Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chat Show podcast. I'm your host, Justin Everett. I got Tyler Hill with me here today. He's my co host, and I want to thank all you fine folks for tuning in. As always, here on the show, I'm going to tell you all a crazy, funny, unbelievable, intense story. So if you're ready, here it goes. So, anyway, this is another story about my old pal, Sir Isaac. Now, this particular story is a little different than from the other ones I've told here on the podcast. Most of the ones I've told about him on the podcast are about how crazy or how crazily stupid he was. But this one's a little different. This is about how he didn't know how to throw a party. He didn't. The man was incapable of throwing a good party. Never, ever could do it.
I can vouch for that.
And So this one time, I remember we were both 14, and he was turning 14. So he invites me to his 14th birthday party, and he's like, "It's gonna be cool. We're gonna have it at the lake. It's gonna be Hawaiian luau theme." I'm like, "All right, I love Hawaiian stuff, so that's awesome. I love Hawaii, so all right, I'm there." Then a few days, so he invites me and some other people. A few days later, he calls me up. "Yeah, change of plans. We couldn't get the lake to do the party." I'm like, "Get the lake? You don't get the lake. You don't reserve it. You don't book it. You just show up. I mean, it's huge. There's plenty of room out there. What do you mean you couldn't get the lake?" He said, couldn't get the lake, I mean my mom couldn't get the gas in her car to drive us up there." I'm like, "Okay." He said, "But it's going to be at my house, and it's still Hawaiian themed, still Hawaiian luau themed, just at my house. But don't worry, it's still going to be cool." I'm like, "All right." He says, "So just come by and we're going to have fun." He tells me what all he's going to have. He's like, "We're going to have slip and slides. We're going to have an above ground pool. We're going to have authentic Hawaiian food and drinks. We're going to have hula dancers. We're going to have people dancing with fire. It's going to be real, authentic Hawaiian. You're going to think you're in Hawaii." I'm like, "Cool." I get there the day of. Everything he had told me about what this party was going to be was a dang lie. All of it was a lie. I get there. This had to be the ghettoest Hawaiian luau-themed birthday party I'd ever been. It was a living example of what a ghetto Hawaiian party was. So everything out of his mouth was a lie. So I get there, and I got all the crap written down on a paper that went on, so I don't leave anything out. I get there, and first off, he's got a bunch of printer paper that has been taped together, hanging on the top part of the house that says "Welcome to Hawaii," and he wrote it with a ballpoint pen. I'm like, you couldn't even spring for a banner that says "Welcome to Hawaii"? He had taken a bunch of typing paper sheets, scotch taped them together, and hung them on the top part of the house. This dude couldn't even spring for a banner. And so, that was just the beginning, trust me. Anyway, so that's just the beginning. So, then, oh my gosh. I'm like, "Sir Isaac, what is all this?" He said, "It's my Hawaiian-themed luau birthday party. What you think it is?" I'm like, "A ghetto Hawaiian-themed luau party. This isn't no luau. This is oh my gosh, I shouldn't have came here." That's what this is to me. So anyway, I'm like, "Dude, where's all the stuff you said you were going to have?" He's like, "You're looking at it." I said, "You said you were going to have an above-ground pool. Where's that?" "Right there." He points, and there's a pool, and it's above ground, but when you hear above ground pool, you think of one of those big, huge ones.
Yeah.
No. It was one of those hard plastic kiddie pools. It was a hard plastic kiddie pool. I was like, "Dude, we're not 2 years old. We're 14. How do we swim in this?" He said, "You don't swim. You just stick your feet in it and sit in a lawn chair outside of it." Huh?
Really?
Wow, okay. So much for the pool. And I said, "But I wanted to swim." He said, "You still can." He said, "You just probably, the minute you lay down in it, all the water gonna come out. But you can still go swimming in it. You just not for very long, for like a second maybe." I was like, okay. Anyway, then I'm like, "All right, where's the slip and slide?" "Right over there." I'm like, "Where?" "Right there." I said, "All I see is one of those metal, steel, aluminum slides." "There you go." And we get the hose, hold it on there, slip and slide. I'm like, dude, it's August in Texas, 109 degrees. I'm not freaking sliding on no metal slide. I'm gonna freaking cook the back of my thighs. The back of my thighs are gonna look like a freaking sirloin steak if I sit on that.
Oh my gosh, really?
He's like, and we just get my mama to hold the hose over the water, over the slide, and there's your slip and slide. I was like, and do we at least land in the kiddie pool? Nah, you just land on the sand. And that's the next point. I was like, this isn't even sand. I know. He goes, it's my dead Uncle Ellister's ashes. We couldn't afford no sand, so, and you know, he ain't doing no good just sitting there, so I figured we put him to use, put him on the ground, call it sand for the Hawaiian party. I'm like, you couldn't even spring for bags, one bag of sand? Wow. He said, but you can wiggle your toes in between. I said, I ain't wiggling my toes in between a dead man's ashes. I'm sorry. That's freaky.
That's a dead person right there.
He was like, it feels like the same thing if you touch it and wiggle your toes in between. I said, ain't no part of my body touching that. I'm sorry. Anyway. So, I'm like, okay, well, you gotta have something. You gotta have something else, you know. He's like, we do. He said, we've also got a water park, like a little section of the yard that's like, we set it up like a water park. I'm like, okay, all right, let me go over there. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, right here. I said, what is all this? He said, there's the sprinkler. You run through the sprinkler. It's like being at a water park. He said, and there's my aunt. She's got a big old bucket of water and she'll dump it on you. You know, like at the water park when that big bucket comes down and dumps on you. I'm like, this is so ghetto, dude. So anyway, he's like, you run through the sprinkler and she dumps the bucket of water on you. But she can only do it once because we couldn't get that much water. You know, it's hot here in Texas. We have a water shortage, so you better make it count. I was like, what else is there? I said, I'm afraid to even ask now, but what else is there? He was like, okay, we also got authentic Hawaiian drinks and food. I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking, some mahi-mahi, some poi, some guavas, something authentic and pineapple.
Pineapple, yeah.
All right. He says, go sit at the table. And I was like, you couldn't even decorate the table like Hawaiian style? He's like, well, we got some leaves on it. I was like, these are brown! Hawaiian leaves are green and lush! It looks like somebody freaking wiped their you-know-what with it after they you-know-what and the you-know-what. So anyway, he's like, now we're going to serve the authentic Hawaiian food since you didn't like any of the other stuff. And what even got me is all his other family were enjoying this and making the most of it. I was like, y'all are some troopers because, I'm already mad because you freaking deceived me so bad. So we sit down and I'm like, all right, let's get on with the authentic Hawaiian drinks and food. He's like, here's the drink. I'm like, what is this? It's Hawaiian Punch. I was like, dude, that's just the name. It is not authentic. Hawaiian Punch is just red dye, sugar, and corn syrup. I thought, authentic Hawaiian drink, I'm thinking like freshly squeezed pineapple juice. That's what I'm thinking. He said, nope. And he says, now, time for the authentic Hawaiian food. And then, he said, I hear this big bang on the table. Bang! And I look, he's like, there's your pineapples? I'm like, these are those pineapples in a can, Dole. He's like, yeah, pineapples, Hawaii. I'm like, dude, their pineapples are fresh and you peel them. No. He said, you ain't never had a Hawaiian party on a budget, have you? I'm like, then don't have one. If you have to have it on a budget, if you have to have it on a budget, it's not a Hawaiian party. It's a ghetto Hawaiian party.
Exactly.
Anyway, then I hear bang. He's just banging all this stuff on the table. We got our roast pig. I'm like, roast pig? This is Oscar Mayer bologna. What? Roast pig? He's like, oh. He said, yeah, you know how to eat roast pig in Hawaii? Yeah, it's an actual pig they roast. He's like, oh, all right, well. And he picks up a slice of the Oscar Mayer, holds a lighter under it, and is like, there you go, roasted. I'm like, so ghetto. And he's like, we have coconuts. I'm like, all right, you got coconuts? He's like, we got coconuts. I'm like, Maybe he's going to turn around. I hear crinkle, crinkle, crinkle on the table. I'm like, what is this? Your coconuts. I'm like, these are snowballs. They have coconuts on them, so there you go. I'm like, dude, I'm speechless. I'm like, you got all the supplies for Hawaiian party at 7-Eleven. He's like, it's Shell. So you need to get your facts straight. I'm like, this isn't that episode of The King of Queens. Shut up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up King of Queens episode Hawaiian Feast. You'll see. But anyway, yeah. And so I'm like, I don't care. You don't get freaking supplies for Hawaiian party at a gas station. He's like, whatever. So yeah, the quote, air quote, coconuts were just those snowball dessert things. He's like, but they have coconuts in them. I'm like, all right.
I can't wait.
I'm like, I can't.
Tell me what?
I'm like, yeah, there's more. I'm like, you know what? I'm already here. It's done been an hour and a half. I'm steering into the skid. Just ride it out. I'm already here. So we finish eating our, quote, authentic Hawaiian feast. Then Sir Isaac says, and now everyone, it's time for the hula dancers and the fire dancers. I'm like, cool. Or no, I'm not, at this point, I'm not like, cool. At this point, I'm like, oh gosh. Because he's been,
At this point,
yeah.
you're probably like, I gotta see this.
At this point, I'm thinking, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? But anyway, he's like, please welcome the hula and fire dancers. I'm thinking it's going to be some pretty Hawaiian girls in grass skirts. Out comes his big, fat cousin with his big old belly, grass skirt, and freaking Christmas wreath on his head. And he freaking doing the hula. This big old fat black man. I'm like, nobody wants to see this. So he's doing the hula. He ain't even singing in Hawaiian. He's just singing in regular English. Just talking about Hawaii, 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 Hawaii 5-0, Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. Here we go with the sand and the surfing and the beach, the sand and the surfing. I need to learn how to teach because I'm working on getting my degree online. I can't go to school because I don't have time to teach. I want to be a teacher because I love the beach. Teach. I got my 3 kids and my wife, so I don't have time for a life because I want to go to the beach so I can teach. I'm going to teach hula on the beach, but I got to get my degree online because I don't have the time. I'm like, dude, oh my, I'm like, shut up.
Did this guy really just say he's like 48?
Yes. I said, dude, you could at least learn the Hawaiian song, that Meli Kaliki Maka something. Have you seen Lilo and Stitch? You could have taken some lessons from them. So anyway, that if he finishes that, and I'm like, oh gosh. And everyone of his family clapping, yay! Yay! Woo! Because they know him, he's family too. Then, in a few minutes, we're going to have the fire dancer. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, you're going to have to fire the dancer because he's going to suck, yeah. He's like, no, he's going to dance with fire. So a few minutes go by. It's his fat cousin again. Same outfit. And this time, he's supposed to be the fire dancer. He has a little disposable lighter. And he's waving it around going, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka. Then he takes a cigarette and lights it. Ooga chaka, ooga chaka. And all his family's like, ooh, yay, ooh. I'm like, shut up, he ain't doing nothing.
All he did was light a cigarette.
He's like, yeah, Sir. I'm like, Sir Isaac, you said you was going to have a fire dancer. He is. Look, he's dancing, and he's got a lighter. He's just waving this little disposable lighter back and forth, lighting a cigarette, dancing. Ooga chaka, ooga chaka. I'm like, I'm thinking, I wish I wasn't born. That's what I'm thinking. Then, when he finishes, Sir Isaac's like, oh, by the way, Justin, did you see my palm trees? I'm like, what? What palm trees? Where? He says, right there. I go, that's a bonsai tree. Yeah, you can hold it in your palm too, so it's a palm tree too. I'm like, kill me now. Kill me now. Anyway, he says, now, time for the final part of the party. I'm like, I've got to see this. I want to see if it's going to be as bad as everything else. Time to go watch the dolphins swim. I'm like, oh, Lord. So he gathers everyone around this little bitty hard plastic kiddie pool. In the kiddie pool are these blow up inflatable dolphins that that his cousin and uncle are moving around with sticks in like freaking 1 foot of water in a freaking 10-inch pool. And they're moving them around with sticks. And again, the whole family, ooh, ah. I'm like, well, y'all shut up. And his grandma looks at me and goes, boy, this is as close as to how, as, let me say that again. Let me start over. I'm stuttering. Anyway, they're oohing and on. I'm like, well, y'all shut up. And his grandma looks at me and goes, boy, this is as close as going to Hawaii as we gonna get. So we gonna take it and like it and you shut up. I'm like, okay. So anyway, then as they're moving them around with the sticks, his uncle pops the inflatable dolphin. Pop. And then the grandma goes, you killed the dolphin, baby. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out of here. Anyway, it was a crazy memory I'll never forget, which is unfortunate depending on the way you look at it. Anyway, that's about all the time we have here today on the Chat Show podcast. I want to thank you all so much for listening. I'm your host, Justin Everett. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.